Somewhere in the quiet corners of Nashville, behind a curved gravel driveway and beneath the soft shade of century-old trees, stands a house that doesn't shout. It whispers. Here, Kacey Musgraves begins her mornings not with applause, but with silence. Why would one of country music's most radiant stars choose such solitude? Today we step inside her private world, the house, the fortune, and the rhythm of a life lived between spotlight and stillness. She was born 6 weeks too soon, barely 5 pounds in a hospital room in Sulphur Springs, Texas. But even as a fragile newborn, Kacey Musgraves arrived in this world like a melody waiting to be sung. Her childhood unfolded in Golden, Texas, a town so small its name sounds more like a dream than a place. Her father ran a printing business. Her mother was an artist who painted the world around her. Perhaps that's why Kacey didn't just grow up. She blossomed, surrounded by colors, textures, and an innate sense of rhythm. At just 8 years old, she wrote her first song, "Notice Me," for her elementary school graduation. It wasn't polished, but it was sincere, and that sincerity never left her. By 12, she was learning guitar from John DeFore, the same mentor who guided Miranda Lambert. It wasn't long before she was picking mandolin strings under hot Texas suns, yodeling at music festivals, and forming a duo called Texas Two Bits with her friend Alina Tatum. She wasn't just a prodigy, she was a spark in cowgirl boots. That spark caught fire. She toured the state, won a national yodeling championship, and even performed at the 2002 Winter Olympics, singing the national anthem. At 14, with the help of her family, she self-funded and released her first solo album. Can you imagine? A teenager pressing her own records while most kids her age were still figuring out locker combinations. But Kacey wanted more. She graduated from Mineola High School in 2006 and headed straight to Austin, the beating heart of Texas music. She scraped by, playing birthday parties as Hannah Montana, taking any gig that would pay the rent. In 2007, she auditioned for Nashville Star, a reality show hoping to find the next big country act. She placed 7th. For most, that might have been the end. But for Kacey, it was just another chord in a song still forming. While others chased formulas, she dug deeper. In 2010, she teamed up with the Josh Abbott Band, and 2 years later, she signed with Mercury Nashville. Then came the breakthrough. Her debut solo single, "Merry Go Round," didn't just climb charts. It pierced hearts. The song was honest, uncomfortable, and breathtaking. It won Best Country Song at the Grammys and announced to the world, Kacey Musgraves doesn't play by the rules. That was just the beginning. Her first major album, Same Trailer, Different Park, was a quiet storm, selling 42,000 copies in its first week and landing her on stages with Lady A, Willie Nelson, and Katy Perry. The hit, Follow Your Arrow, became an anthem for individuality, earning praise from Rolling Stone, who called her a progressive icon in a genre known for its conservatism. Her words weren't just poetry, they were protest, dressed in rhinestones and dipped in steel. Then came 2018. The release of Golden Hour wasn't just a career highlight. It was a cultural moment. It won Album of the Year at the Grammys, making her only the 4th country artist to do so. It was soft, shimmering, sun-drenched, and entirely her own. Suddenly, Musgraves wasn't just a country star. She was a global artist, headlining festivals, gracing Saturday Night Live, even debuting at the Met Gala dressed as life-sized Barbie. She signed with IMG Models, sang for Frozen 2, and created a Christmas special with Lana Del Rey, Troye Sivan, and even her own grandmother. But here's the twist. At the height of her fame, she stepped back. She left the spotlight, left the glittering chaos. She went searching, not for more applause, but for more quiet. It was during these years that Kacey began to redefine what success meant to her. She bought a home in Nashville, An old house, nearly a century in age, tucked away behind trees and gravel paths. Not a mansion screaming extravagance, but a sanctuary whispering peace. No paparazzi, no chaos, just her, a guitar, and the life she'd always wanted to write songs about. And so we ask, how does a Grammy-winning fashion icon country star go from stadium lights to garden lights? What does her home reveal about the music she hasn't written yet? The answers, it seems, are waiting behind that front door in Nashville. Home in Nashville. There's a house in Nashville, nearly 100 years old, that doesn't shout to passers-by. It rests quietly behind a curved gravel driveway framed by climbing ivy and soft southern trees, as if it spent a lifetime learning how to keep secrets. But if you follow the path, past the whispering garden and under a small arched balcony, you'll find the door to a world unlike any other. Kacey Musgraves' sanctuary. Why here? Why now? Why would one of the most celebrated voices in country music choose a home that feels more like a writer's retreat than a pop star's palace? The answer is in the stillness. As you step into the home, valued at around $4 million, you're immediately greeted by a light that doesn't come from chandeliers or designer bulbs. It's natural, soft, pouring through tall arched windows and bouncing off the white and beige interior like a whisper wrapped in sunlight. The living room is where the story begins. Pale wooden floors, exposed ceiling beams, and minimal furniture tell you this is a space for thinking, not showing off. A guitar leans in the corner. A candle flickers quietly on a reclaimed wood coffee table. Here, Kacey doesn't rehearse. She remembers. Every line she's written, every tear she's turned into melody, echoes softly in this space. Do you feel that? The house doesn't just welcome you, it listens. The kitchen is a different rhythm, more lively, more open, like the bridge in one of her songs. There's a large center island with smooth, cream-colored stone, framed by white cabinetry and soft golden hardware. It's not industrial or overly polished. It's warm, intimate, the kind of place where you imagine handwritten lyrics scattered next to a half-empty coffee mug. Kacey once said her favorite moments happen not on stage, but at home with close friends, cooking barefoot, music playing low in the background. In this kitchen, you believe her. Then, there's the master suite. And it's not just a bedroom, it's an exhale. The French doors open out to a private back patio, where vines curl up wooden beams, and the light falls differently. Golden, hushed. Inside, the bathroom features soft stone tile, a freestanding soaking tub, a walk-in shower, and a walk-in closet that feels less like a display and more like a personal journal. Curated, intentional, soulful. This is not where she gets ready for red carpets. This is where she comes back down after them. Wander out the back, and you'll find a space that doesn't just host. It heals. A covered wooden porch, complete with a rustic table and woven chairs, invites late-night conversations under string lights. The yard beyond is shaded, fenced with tall greenery, the kind of place where time stretches, and you forget what day it is. It's easy to imagine Kacey sitting here at dusk, guitar in lap, barefoot, wrapped in a cardigan, writing something raw. Maybe a song the world will hear next year. Or maybe one she'll never share. Because some songs are just for the soul. The entire home, all 3,500 square feet of it, is built not to impress, but to express. Every detail, from the antique doorknobs to the soft rugs, seems to say, "This is who I am when no one's looking." And maybe that's the real magic. In an industry that thrives on noise and neon, Kacey Musgraves has built a life and a home rooted in calm. She doesn't need chandeliers made of crystal. She has light, She doesn't need gold-plated finishes. She has warmth. She doesn't need space to throw parties. She has space to breathe. So what happens when a world-famous artist chooses a house that whispers instead of roars? You get something rare. You get truth. You get music before it becomes melody. And yet, this is only half the story. Because to understand Kacey's heart, you have to go back to Texas, where her roots still stretch deep across the fields of Sulphur Springs Ranch in Texas. When Nashville becomes too loud, when the lights blind and the noise blurs, Kacey Musgraves goes home. Not to another house in the city, but to the land, to Texas. Tucked away in Sulphur Springs, on a sprawling 116-acre ranch, stands a second sanctuary. If her Nashville home is where she creates, then this is where she listens. To the wind, the earth, and that quiet voice inside her that fame could never touch. The moment you cross the gates, there's a shift. The road isn't paved in marble, but in memory. The air smells like grass warmed by the sun and old wood touched by rain. At the heart of the property is a main house, modern in finish, yet deeply Texan in soul. Estimated at around $3 million, the home fuses craftsmanship with comfort. Vaulted ceilings, natural stone fireplace, and rich wood accents that glow gold in the afternoon light. And then there's the kitchen. A chef's dream, outfitted with Wolf appliances, dual ovens, and a massive island that feels more like a gathering place than a workspace. This isn't just where meals are made. It's where stories are told, where lyrics are scribbled on napkins between coffee refills. Every corner of this home has a pulse, a rhythm, and every rhythm echoes back to the roots of the girl who grew up down the road. The bedrooms are cozy, lined with plush carpets, while the rest of the house flows with cool tile and smooth wooden floors, durable, timeless, and inviting. The natural light pours through every room, almost as if the house itself has decided it prefers daylight to lamps. Step outside, and everything opens. A covered patio beckons you to sit, to breathe. There's a heated pool and spa carefully tucked into the landscape, offering a quiet place to float under the stars. Not far off, a massive barn spreads its arms wide, over 7,000 square feet, with a 60 by 40 enclosed tack room, 6 horse stalls, and even a bathroom for muddy days. But this isn't some ornamental ranch. It works. It moves. It lives. 2 500-gallon underground propane tanks power the home and a Generac generator, ensuring that life here doesn't just feel free, it is free. There's even a roping arena, 150 by 260 feet, lit for night practice, echoing with the sound of hooves and laughter and maybe even music drifting from a Bluetooth speaker tucked in a saddlebag. For Kacey, this land isn't just a getaway. It's a grounding force. It's where she remembers who she was, before the Grammys, before the sold-out tours, before the heartbreak and healing and reinvention. Here, the silence speaks in verses. And maybe that's why she never let go of Texas, because it never let go of her. When she rides her horse across the pasture at sunset, boots dusty and hair wild in the wind, there's no stage, no spotlight, just sky. And in that wide open nothingness, she finds everything. So what do you call a place where past and present live side by side? Where luxury meets soil? Where a superstar steps out of her name and becomes simply Kacey again? You call it a ranch, sure, but more than that. You call it home. And yet, even as she splits her heart between Nashville and Sulphur Springs, there's one thing that never wavers, the quiet confidence and the quiet fortune that powers it all. Shall we take a closer look? $12 million. That's the estimated net worth of Kacey Musgraves. Not flashy, not loud, but quietly powerful. Just like her. But maybe that's what makes it even more fascinating. How does someone who defies mainstream expectations, who writes about heartbreak, self-love, and queer identity in a traditionally conservative genre, still win the game? The answer is simple. She changed the rules. And in doing so, she built a life and a fortune on her own terms. But even with all those millions in the bank, there's something Kacey values even more: giving back. Because for her, success isn't real if it doesn't ripple outward. Shall we follow that ripple? Philanthropy. It was February 2021. Texas was frozen, broken, and in crisis. The winter storm had swept through homes, power lines, and hope. But while politicians scrambled and systems failed, one artist quietly stepped up. Kacey Musgraves designed a t-shirt. Simple, white, printed with the words, "Texas is cold," in bold retro font. She didn't announce it with press releases. She didn't go live on Instagram. She just created and gave. Within days, thousands were sold. Every single dollar of profit went to Feed the People Dallas, Casa Marianella, and the American Red Cross. Organizations working tirelessly to keep families warm, fed, and alive. And that's the thing about Kacey. She doesn't use charity as spotlight. She uses spotlight as charity. Her heart work stretches beyond natural disasters. In 2019, she received the Vanguard Award from GLAAD, an honor given to those who amplify LGBTQ+ voices in industries that have long silenced them. In country music, a genre often resistant to change, Kacey didn't just open a door. She held it wide open. With songs like Follow Your Arrow, she redefined what it meant to be country, to be kind, to be inclusive. And while others hesitated, she embraced. She performed at pride events, spoke at advocacy galas, and used her platform to say what others wouldn't. That love is love. That country music should be for everyone. Her efforts didn't stop there. Through the hashtag #ChipInChallenge, Kacey helped raise funds for the St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, supporting children battling life-threatening illnesses and easing the burden on their families. She also quietly donates to education initiatives, mental health programs, and local music schools in Texas. You won't always find her name on the banners, but if you listen closely, you'll see her fingerprints on the smiles of those she's helped. Because for her, giving isn't about applause, it's about alignment. It's about doing the right thing, even when no one's watching. Perhaps that's why her songs feel so genuine, because they come from someone who not only sings about the world, but shapes it. Kacey once said, "I don't want to just exist in this world. I want to do something that matters," and she does. Not through grand speeches or charity galas, but through intention, through small, powerful gestures that add up to something much bigger than herself. And yet, for all her giving, Kacey has kept something sacred: her peace, her privacy, her personal life. So what happens when a woman who gives so much to the world turns inward and starts giving that same compassion to herself? It's time we take a look into the real Kacey, the one behind closed doors, off stage, and in the quiet corners of her day. Personal life. In a world where fame often demands a piece of your soul, Kacey Musgraves has chosen instead to keep hers whole. She's lived the whirlwind, the red carpets, the Grammy wins, the world tours, the flashbulbs. But in recent years, she's done something radical. She's slowed down. And in that slowing, she's begun to truly live. After her divorce from fellow artist Rustin Kelly in 2020, a relationship that had inspired much of her Golden Hour album, Kacey found herself facing a new rhythm. Not one dictated by chart positions or tour schedules, but one dictated by breath, stillness, and healing. She didn't retreat from the world. She simply stepped back into herself. For a time, she found companionship in Cole Schaefer, a Nashville-based poet with a soul as gentle as his words. Their relationship was slow-burning, thoughtful, the kind of connection that didn't need a stage. They were often seen strolling through East Nashville with coffee in hand or quietly supporting each other's art. No paparazzi chaos, no dramatic headlines, just two people choosing softness in a world of noise. Even after their romantic chapter ended, there was no bitterness, only gratitude, only growth. Kacey now lives with purpose, not in grand declarations, but in the everyday. Her mornings begin in silence, often barefoot in her Nashville kitchen, where she grinds coffee beans and lights incense before picking up her guitar. Sometimes, she writes, sometimes she just sits and listens to the creaking of the house, the whisper of her thoughts. She's taken up gardening, growing lavender and herbs on her back porch. She travels not for attention, but for perspective, often retreating to the English countryside, the California coast, or remote desert towns with nothing but a notebook and a scarf. Her sister Kelly often photographs these quiet moments. Sunlight on her cheek, a book half read, a lyric not yet finished. Through the lens of family, we see the real Kacey, the one who smiles shyly at the camera, not because she's posing, but because she's present. And then there's the music. From Star-Crossed to her latest album Deeper Well, Kacey has traded glitter for gravity. She sings not about stardom, but about survival. Not about boys, but about boundaries. Not about love as fantasy, but love as a practice, starting with the self. Her lyrics have shifted, so has her voice. It's softer now, wiser, but still just as piercing. Because when Kacey Musgraves sings, it's never for the spotlight. It's for the soul. And these days, her own soul seems fuller than ever. So what does a day in her life look like? It's sunlight filtering through linen curtains. It's long walks with no destination. It's cooking for friends. It's writing a line and throwing it away, not because it wasn't good, but because it wasn't true. It's silence. It's music. It's healing. And maybe that's the lesson. That even in a world addicted to speed, to noise, to more, there's something revolutionary about a woman who chooses less. Less attention, less chaos, less pretending, and instead, more truth, more earth, more Kacey. From the spotlight to the soil, from heartache to harmony, Kacey Musgraves reminds us, you don't have to shout to be heard. You don't have to be seen to be known. You just have to be real. In a world chasing noise, Kacey Musgraves built a life around silence, softness, and soul. Which part of her journey spoke to you most? The music, the solitude, or the soil? Leave us a comment below. And if you believe that quiet lives can still echo loudly, hit subscribe and join us as we uncover more untold stories behind the walls and hearts of the world's most fascinating stars.